Hello and welcome back to Nightcall. So I've started it on the main menu for a very important reason. First, to check it's actually running in 1080, but mostly because I want to play this again, but it's been two months since I played it last, so I can't remember a damn thing. So I'm going to be restarting from the beginning. I do know that we should probably take that thing that the guy leaves on his seat when he gets out of the car, because it's actually relevant. So I'll do that. But otherwise it would be like the scary cop lady would sit down and ask what I've learned, and I'm like, what was the dead guy's name again? So some of it is going to be stuff you've already seen before, so I apologise for that. But it's the only way to get me to actually follow along with the mystery at hand. So we're going to start a new game, number 2. I think we're doing the judge, because obviously we were a little ways into that. We'll keep it balanced. So, you know the story, we get conked in the back of the head. And then everyone's suspicious of us when we wake up, people think we're the judge, we can get back into driving a taxi, yada yada. There we go. Conked in the back of the head time. Hey, Doctor. You're fine. Please don't speak up. I've had a traumatic brain injury. You just spent 2 weeks in a coma. Yep. Need to bounce that around my head. Coma? Where scratches along your throat. Yes, you were the victim of an assault. The word resonates in your head again. Victim. You're aware a serial killer is currently on the loose in Paris. You feel the contents of your stomach crawling up your throat. The judge, as the police called the killer, assaulted you. Bullet touched your liver, and in most circumstances it would have been fatal. But because you drunk so much because you're French, your liver had calcified into pure stone at this point. We chose to put you in an induced... and out you go again. Your voice becomes more distant, fades, and you taste bile at the back of your mouth. Your head is burning, you hear a whistle in one ear. Ah, it's just a kettle, probably. Your fingers move to your wound. Underneath the bandages, you can feel hard skin. It is incredibly painful. Did they... I'm sorry? Did they catch the judge? No. What about my passenger? He was dead before you even got out of your cab. Wait, what? The doctor is silent for a second, a very awkward second. She hesitates. The police would like to see you as soon as possible to ask you some questions. After all, you're the only one who survived the judge. Noise in the hallway attracts your attention. You try to turn your head to no avail. You need to rest. She leaves the room. Her voice resonates in the hallway. I don't care he's the only witness. Another female voice joins in, a strong, authoritarian voice. You can't clearly make up what she's saying. A strange feeling washes over you. It's not pain, not fatigue, some odd combination of the two. Before being in this hospital room, you'd never realised that anger was made up of a combination of pain and exhaustion. Anger. A feeling you know all too well. Days go by, and a month later. Alright, don't think we need the instructions from the bloke. We click on people to go and take their fare. Special glowing people are important, yada yada. Got a bit of a problem. A real problem, that is. You have a pounding headache. It's your first night behind the wheel since the attack. You listening to me? Catch your boss's eye in the rearview mirror. Yeah. He stares at you for a second or two without speaking. Sometimes I wonder what goes on inside your head. You always seem so far away. Sorry. I just want things to get back to normal. To clear my head. To stop thinking about it all. He's watching you closely, trying to make out what's going on in your head. You know I'm worried about you, don't you? I know. You're like a son to me, you know. I know. And you know he's about to tell you the story of his taxi fleet again. When my father died and left me the store, I could have sold it. I could have retired, gone back to the old country. Let him go on. But I decided to start a cab fleet with the money he left me, to hire the guys from the neighbourhood. And that's why I've got 45 guys like you working for me. His hands flutter in the air, though none of them are any match for you. I'm sure you tell all of them that. He smiles. His voice suddenly takes on a serious note. Do you want me to go over everything again? He points to the equipment on the dashboard, the meter, the GPS. You haven't been in a taxi for weeks. Maybe you do need a little refresher. Yeah, why not? Right then, well first the map. You spot potential customers and try to guess where they'll be going. Then you decide. When a customer orders a taxi, if there's no one else around, you have to go pick them up. He shrugs. That's the way it goes. It's business. No problem. The other fares, you look at the map and decide whether or not you want to take them. And then you drive. He flashes a quick mechanical smile. You know it well. When he talks about work, he talks about work. That's all. When your shift is over, we do the numbers, and his voice trails off, as if searching for the right words. And that's all. Pretty simple. No reason why you can't do it. Oh right, no overtime. We're in France here, and there are rules, regulations. You might not see it that way, but no one likes having a driver who hasn't slept for 24 hours. Yeah, that's fair. Very fair. He looks away. Something's been bothering him since he got into the cab. Anyhow, you know the ropes, you get it. I know you're going to do a good job. What's the matter? Your boss keeps quiet for a while, as if he's hesitant to speak. And then... I don't think it's a good idea. You shouldn't be driving. The murderer is still out there, and we think he's going to come back for you. I said we last time. How about he doesn't know who I am? Could have seen your face. The police are positive he didn't. He attacked from behind. I fell to the ground, then he took off. Silence, your eyes lock. He holds your gaze. He wants to believe you, to be on your side. He looks away. Anyway, I'll let you get back to work. Yeah, everyone's slightly suspicious, because we're the only one to survive, and our passenger died. Every minute spent in your taxi is a minute lost. I should have started the fucking meter then, shouldn't I? He gives you a smile, half ironic, half serious. You can count on me. He scratches at an invisible stain on the armrest. Yeah, I know. That's the problem. He smiles. Your boss opens the door and exits the cab. You watch him cross the street and enter the fleet garage. A couple of colleagues are milling about. Taxis are coming and going. They all ignore you, consciously or unconsciously. You are branded. You sit there a moment, then turn the key in the ignition. The hum of the engine sends a tingle down your spine. It's impossible to describe how you missed that feeling. It's back to the night shift, back to life. Despite the attack. Despite it all. Okay, here we go. No one is shining at us. So we get to pick who we want to go for. Kind of like this guy. He kind of reminds me of like a chubby Bill Murray. This is miles away, so it's going to deplete my fuel, but we know how this night's going to end, don't we? Alright, Chubby Murray, what have you got for me? Vincent Bourdier. I need a man I can trust. You can trust me, Bill. The man getting in your cab seems anxious. You've seen these types before. Late for a meeting, late to catch a plane, late getting home. He gives you an address in the 15th arrondissement. I don't speak French, so I'm just going to say it in like the more way. You recognise him, a former deputy or senator, something like that. He looks at you nervously in the mirror. He's upset about something. Everything alright, sir? Yes, fine, thank you. His eyes are watering. He runs a hand across his damp forehead. He's sweating a great deal for a winter night. He clears his throat. Do you, excuse me, I was wondering. Yes? Do people ever leave things in your taxi? All the time. Ah, all the time, that's good to know. He pauses and attempts to pull himself together. He looks cramped in his suit. And what do you do with the things people forget? Do you keep them? We take them back to the central office and wait for someone to claim them. Oh, shit. I mean, fine, very good. How civil of you, good job. He pauses again. Do you need anything? Well, yeah, no, how shall I say? I need to lose something, if you get my drift. And I need to lose it in your taxi. I don't understand. Sorry, I owe you an explanation. I just got out of a meeting. It was awful. Sighing to himself, he adds, awful. I've always been loyal to the party, you know. I've always followed orders and got the job done. My mother was a card-carrying member, my father an elected official, but I just can't do it anymore. I'm going to leave my briefcase here on the back seat. A moment goes by. He stares at you. You might say it was an oversight, you see. And then what happens? And then? Then someone will take care of the briefcase. When you drop the taxi off, bring the briefcase to the head office. Someone will come pick it up. Takes a deep breath. This country we live in? It's going to hell in a handbasket. Everyone running it is corrupt. They've sold out. They're thieves, all of them. He slowly lays the briefcase beside him. We have lunch with We have lunch with lobbyists. Dinner with bankers. It sounds like the UK government. We should burn everything. Start over from scratch. Sometimes I dream we'll all get sick. Be swept away by a political plague. A flu for suits. I do sympathise with this guy. He pauses, exhales, shakes. I can't bear to see them spend €600 on a meal when they just decided to close a hospital that suddenly became too costly to maintain. Oh, this one's driving deep at my heart. 6 months ago, we refused to vote for a law that would have prevented the building in Pantin from burning down. Again, parallels. Do you remember? 6 months ago, we could have saved 75 people. He stumbles over the next words. The public housing minister, when we presented that bastard with the bill, he burst out laughing. As if the people living in those crumbling buildings were just peons. The passenger groans as if in pain and suddenly stops talking. What are you going to do now? I'm going to sleep. Then they'll send me to prison. Or worse, to a far-off ward. Some overseas territory. Guyana or something like that. He struggles to swallow. That's what they do to traitors. And after that, we'll see. Tomorrow is another day, if you know what I mean. Silence. Stop the car. Act as if everything is normal. You park along the sidewalk. You suddenly notice your client smells terrible. Sour, pungent BO, almost unbearable. He pays his fare and slips you an extra bill. Your compensation. He gets out and walks away quickly without turning back. You open the window to air out the cab. Am I not supposed to be dropping off this briefcase? It doesn't seem to... What the hell? That's just a bloke with a hat. With a weird symbol on his head. Again, not seeing anyone shining. Like the lawyer did. They had like a little ring around them. Glowing, flashing thing. What about this guy? Just looks like angry with his hat on. Also don't see the lawyer's face. I think I recognise him. What have we got? Dennis Petitjean. The Little Jean. The Plane Saint-Denis, please. That's all the way across town, but why not? The passenger climbs into the cab and slams the door shut behind him. Good evening. Planet Saint Denis, please. He stops short, visibly sizing you up. Do you know where it is? You nod yes. Avenue de Magasins Généraux. So, you know the street? Yeah, sure. He looks at you intently. You know all the streets of Paris? His question drips with disbelief. You know his kind well. The sort who would refer to you as the Arab, and not bat an eyelid. Yes, I do, monsieur. He seems hesitant. Well then, let's go. You start the cab. Your client stares out the window as if hypnotised. You watch him in the rearview mirror. His face is familiar to you. His accent too, though you'd never be able to place it. Typical of some rural region. Central France, perhaps. You know, I never considered that French accents would be different, but I guess it makes sense the same way that English accents are different and American accents are different. It's strange when it's a language that you don't speak. It's harder to pick up on individual accents. You take another look. That's it, you've got it. He was a contestant on one of those reality shows where farmers meet women. You've seen him on this show a few weeks before. You'd watched it from your hospital bed with a distracted eye. But something about it had bothered you. The show was a masquerade, life in the country seen from a very Parisian and cynical perspective. Full of scorn and contempt. Okay then, you figured out who I am. His remark and his accent bring you back to the present. Sorry. You recognise me, right? So you can make fun of me now. Make fun of you? He shrugs. Yeah, like all those other people do out there on that their Tweety thing. Tweety? Takes you a second to realise he's talking about social media. Make fun of you? I'm sorry, don't know what you mean by that. Make fun of you? Yeah, well go on, have a good laugh. It's free, right? Why shouldn't you? Have a good laugh at my expense. That's all I'm good for, right? His eye meets yours, his voice faltering. He sighs heavily, then shakes his shoulders. He goes on staring at you for a while and then seems to calm down. Sorry. He shakes his head, obviously moved. His shell is starting to crack. I should live in hell. Imagine what I'm going through. It's a nightmare. 3 months ago, I was a contestant on that stupid show, Fields of Love. Well, I said yes because my wife's been dead for 25 years. I've been all alone ever since. Just me and cows and udders. He stops and shrugs. The show was aired like a month ago. At first things were fine. Friends called, we had a good laugh and all. And then I found out the internet is laughing at me too. So the internet is laughing at me too. There were those things, I can't remember what they're called. Mums, mams, mims, gifs. You know, those things that move all by themselves on the damn internet. You have no idea what he's talking about. Not politely. So I made myself a Tweety account to go and see what they're saying about me. Call me a virgin and a Nazi. Like, screw my cows too. He looks away. If someone else had spoken the words, they practically would die laughing. A farmer who... He doesn't want to finish that sentence. So yesterday I said I'd had it. I called my cousin to keep an eye on my farm and I left for Paris. I'm on my way to see those TV jokers right now. 6 months ago they said if there's any problem whatsoever they'd take care of it. Well, there is a problem. His anger has subsided somewhat. His face is returning to its normal colour. What's your plan? Hell yes, I have a plan. I'm going to show up at their office and raise Cain until they listen to me. You really going to do that? Yeah, it's the plan. He gives an energetic nod of the head. And believe me, they're going to listen. I may just be a plain old farmer, but nobody's going to disrespect me. Yeah, I don't think city life really works like that. You're just going to get security called. He squares his shoulders as if to fend off the attacks. Oh, forget it. His eyes half closed, he practically growls the words. There was a palpable air of sadness about him. At first, I told them I didn't want to be on their stupid old show. It wasn't for me. But they insisted. They showed me pictures of the women. He lowers his eyes. And then, well, I said yes. Should never have said yes. You pull up at the address he gave you. Studio gates are still closed. You park the cab and cut the engine. Is it closed? You nod yes. Doesn't open till 6. You point to a signpost near the gates. He sighs. Yeah, but there'll hardly be anyone here before 9 or 10 o'clock. I don't care. I'll wait. He rummages through his pockets and pulls out a wallet. What are you going to ask them? I want them to apologise on TV during this show in front of everyone. It's not going to happen. To talk about all the things they changed, all the bits of sentences they cut up and put back together. He fixes his gaze on you, his eyes narrow. You know, I'm not racist. His voice is low and raspy. Can I pause this? Yeah. Cool. Well, we'll learn about the not racist farmer next episode. And hopefully we'll run into the intrigue that seems to be missing. I don't know why we haven't got the lawyer this time. I assumed that was kind of a set piece, but maybe it just comes in when it comes in. Either way, thank you very much for watching, and I shall be back with more Night Call next episode. Goodbye.